You're watching SportsBeat.
Thanks for watching tonight. Jeremiah Jensen, Sam Farnsworth. We have a conversation with BYU quarterback Zach Wilson. You'll also hear from the Cougars on their season opener with the Utes, but we begin with a busy week for the Utah Jazz.
Yeah, busy might be an understatement here. The trade went down on Wednesday. It won't become official until July 6th. Either way, Mike Conley's coming to Utah. The Jazz sent Jay Crowder, Kyle Korver, Grayson Allen, 2 first-round draft picks, including the 23rd pick in Thursday's draft.
It's a trade that has the rest of the NBA on notice. The Jazz are now contenders in the Western Conference. So what are the Jazz getting in Mike Conley, and why is he such a great fit?
The Jazz needed more from a point guard. Bingo! They found what they're looking for in Mike Conley.
Bingo!
More offense.
Conley, lob it in his finishes.
The 12-year veteran averaged 21 points and 6.4 assists per game last year, the best numbers of his career. He can score at all 3 levels, a 38% career three-point shooter.
Conley got it on a foul!
He's also a terrific mid-range shooter, and his floater at the rim with the right or left hand is one of the most effective in the NBA.
Conley, another floater, got it again!
He ranked in the 81st percentile last year in pick-and-roll efficiency. Who runs the pick-and-roll more than anyone in the NBA? The Utah Jazz.
Conley retreats for 3. Bingo!
Can he play with Donovan Mitchell? Absolutely. If you want the ball in Donovan's hands, Mike is terrific off the ball. He shot 40% on catch-and-shoot threes.
Conley, a rhythm 3. Bingo!
He's the most efficient point guard in the league. He has the best assist-to-turnover ratio for point guards with a usage rate over 20. He's a two-way player, one of the best point guard defenders in the league. Mike will also fit the culture the Jazz have established. As Dennis Lindsay likes to say, he has Jazz DNA.
So the trade is done, and you're looking at this offseason, there was so much anticipation, so much excitement, because the Jazz had money to spend.
Yeah.
They're no longer spending that money in free agency. They got
Right.
it from Mike Conley. I think this was the best move they could have made this summer.
It's definitely a great move, and I think it's an upgrade at the position. There's no doubt about that. The one concern, or a couple concerns, I guess, that I had when I first heard of the move, his age, his injury history, how do those play, or will they play in effect in his transition to Utah? Hopefully they don't, but that's just one of the question marks I guess I have in the grand scheme of the whole deal.
So he was healthy last year, played 70 games. And his age, yes, he's going to be 32 when the season starts, but he's just coming off his best NBA season. If you're concerned about his age, I can argue he's in his prime, and the Jazz are going to get him in 2 years in his prime. So we will see.
He won't be asked to do as much in Utah as well. Obviously,
That's
they
true.
leaned on him heavily in Memphis. Here, he won't be leaned on in the same capacity. And obviously, you mentioned the defensive presence that he brings at the point guard position. I think that's an upgrade there as well over Rubio.
And he's going to be surrounded with better players as a whole. I'm obviously played with Marc Gasol, but he's going to have more help here in Utah. All right, let's continue this conversation on Mike Conley and a busy week with the Jazz.
Oh, yes, sir. Top goes Rudy. He's it.
It was a busy week for the Utah Jazz, and we are now joined by Eric Woodyard, Jazz beat writer for the Deseret News. Did you catch your breath yet?
Man, it's been busy, man. They call it the off season, but it's not all season.
It's not the off season for us, which is fun, though. I love it. So the shocker on Wednesday, although can we really call it a shocker?
I don't think
we
so.
kind of waited for this to develop and happen, thought it was going to happen. When you saw the Mike Conley trade come up, what was your reaction, and do you believe that this was plan A for the Utah Jazz this offseason?
I'm not sure if it was plan A. I think it was the smartest plan. I mean, because you have to consider this market, and a lot of players might not want to come here. So I mean, that's just a fact, pretty much. They deal with that. So I think it would have been taking a gamble, trying to go through free agency and depend on the guy that way. So I think the trade made sense. I was more so shocked that they let Jay go.
Yeah.
Everything else kind of made sense, but letting Jay Crowder go, I thought that was pretty shocking, man. And Jay was kind of like the heart and soul of the team a little bit. So great guy, man. I'm gonna be sad to see him go, not only on the basketball court, but on a personal level as well.
Jay was a fan favorite. Kyle Korver's a fan favorite. A lot of fans thought Grayson Allen had potential. 2 first-round picks. to get a great player, you got to give up something. Do you think that was the right amount? Do you think the Jazz got the best deal they could?
Yeah, I think it was the best deal they could. I mean, because even as much as they gave up, it wasn't like nothing that was like, no disrespect to those guys at all, but it just wasn't like they gave up something that's going to just really hinder this team that much. I mean, I just thought the biggest thing I was most shocked with was Jay Crowder, but I thought it was a solid trade. I just want to see if Mike Conley stays healthy. That's the biggest thing, and I thought it was a good move. I think it was a win-now move.
Now they get Mike Conley. The question is, where does this put the Jazz in the Western Conference? Now, there's a lot of things that need to get sorted out in free agency, like maybe Kawhi comes to the Clippers. Hold on for that. But as of right now, does this trade make the Jazz a contender in the Western Conference?
I think so, man. I mean, obviously with the injuries in Golden State, it's wide open. So you never know, man. I mean, but they entered last year with high expectations and started off slow. So it really, on paper, it looks great. But, I mean, they have to go out and execute.
That brings us to the next step this offseason, free agency.
Right.
Now, we were all preparing for a busy offseason. In fact, I was asking you to come on the show for 2 or 3 weeks because we thought that they would be busy, but then they pull off this trade. So is Tobias Harris still an option? What are the Jazz looking at this summer that's realistic that they can accomplish?
I think they have like a mid-level exception that they can use. It was about $4.4 million, but realistically, I think most of the team is intact. I don't see them waiving Derek. They don't have to waive Derek Favors, so why would you?
Yeah.
He's been so efficient and effective for this team. I think you just roll the dice and keep most of the team you have and try to bring in another guy.
Justin Zanuck said after the draft, new Jazz GM, that the Jazz were still going to be aggressive in free agency. So what do you think they mean by that? What can they really truthfully accomplish with what they have left to work with?
Man, I mean, like you say, just trying to bring in a solid veteran guy. I mean, and I don't know if they will let go of Favors. I don't think that'll happen, but maybe the right situation, maybe they do. You never know. So I think those guys always play the poker face, so you never know, man. I mean, you never know with Justin Zanuck.
Make a great point.
Those guys, they're very tight-lipped. You very rarely hear news leaked out of that circle, so I'm just as interested to see what they do as well. July 6th and that June 30th through July 6th period is going to be huge.
Now, you got a great Q&A with Rudy Gobert that's up on the Deseret News right now, DeseretNews.com. An exclusive conversation with Rudy. You went down to L.A., you hung out with Rudy. First of all, what was Rudy's reaction to the Conley trade?
Man, he said he texted him right away. So he said he was sad to lose his teammates, Jay and Kyle and Grayson and those guys, but I think he is in win mode right now. I mean, he's entering his prime. He's trying to get better. He's working with a new shooting coach. Definitely getting some things intact, and I think he's just ready to go.
What's Rudy's summer going to be like? I know he's going to play for France in the World Championship.
Yeah. He's just training in L.A. now. Obviously, the NBA awards tomorrow. He'll come back here for about a month. He just got a brand new state-of-the-art gym in his home that he was showing me. Nice. It looks amazing with his logo on the court and everything. So he'll be doing probably most of his training there and just getting ready for the World Cup.
Now to the draft. Now, the Jazz traded their first-round pick, so it took a lot of the drama out of it.
Right.
I just thought they'd take the second-round pick, and that's what would happen. Last year, they sold their second-round pick.
Yeah, they did.
They bought 3 second-round picks. Well, they traded and bought for 2 of them, for the 3. What was the plan there? What do you think they were doing with 3 second-round picks when second-round picks don't normally make a team?
I know. I think they were just taking a chance and trying to be aggressive. Bringing new talent in. Obviously, the roster is wide open, so some of those guys might have a chance to actually stick on the roster, depending on how they do in Summer League. And Justin talked about that as well after the draft. So I think just that's part of the job of being aggressive and trying to maybe find a diamond in the rough.
They're just small conference guys, but you watch the video of these guys?
Yeah, they look pretty
It's pretty impressive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, now to Donovan Mitchell. He's been more and more low-key this summer, but some big news with him is his shoes are coming out. And you've got some insight on that. You know what's going on with the shoes. What's the latest on his shoes with Adidas?
They'll be in stores in Champs and Foot Locker on July 5th for $100. And Adidas might be doing something earlier, though, so we'll have some more news will be coming out next week. So they might even be doing something as early as July 1st with it, with Adidas. But in stores where people can go purchase them, they'll be on Foot Locker and Champs July 5th for $100. And that's the first model. The second model, I think, comes out. It's like the Venom colorway with the pink and stuff. I think that comes out July 18th. So, I mean, he's kind of been low-key, but he kind of hasn't, though. He's been in New York. He's still been doing his training. Chris Brickley and those guys out there. And was back at Louisville working out with Trae Young, preparing for the World Cup training camp. So, yeah, I mean, he's sitting back, but, I mean, he's still a young guy, man. He can't sit still. He got a lot going on.
It's good to be young.
Right.
Well, and I hope the stores here in Salt Lake City are ready
Man,
when those shoes come out. Pray for those guys that work at those stores.
Everybody in Utah, but all the kids in Utah feel like probably going to have a pair, man. So it's probably
I got to fork up $100 for my 11-year-old, so I'm prepared for that. Eric, thanks so much.
Man, no problem, man.
Good luck the rest of this offseason. We'll continue to keep track of everything that's going on. You can follow Eric at @E_Woodyard on Twitter and read his work in the Deseret News and DeseretNews.com.
Well, Jeremiah, I know I'm going to be walking into the shoe store barefoot, coming out with those sneakers on the day they hit the shelves. Yeah. Hey, Mitchell definitely has a lot going on these days, but he still had time to sit down and talk to the media about what he thinks of his new teammate, Mike Conley.
I've heard nothing but great things about Mike. You know, obviously it's sad, you know, Grayson, you know, is a good friend of mine, Jay and Kyle as well, that they're going with what we're getting in Mike. You know, he's a great player. You know, he's very underrated in my opinion. He has a lot. He does a lot, getting into the lane, being able to find guys, and I can learn a lot from him too, as far as being a point guard, playing the pick and roll, finding open guys, be able to make certain shots.
Yeah, I mean, now since I've played in 7 games, it's just like I have a confidence that I built up over that amount of time.
Up next, a conversation with BYU quarterback Zach Wilson. What he wants to prove as a sophomore, his injury rehab, and his own experience on both sides of the BYU-Utah rivalry.
I have a pretty good chance so far.
Yeah, and Tom Hackett has another episode of The Hallowed Grounds. That's coming up later.
You're watching SportsBeat.
How about the Bees today? Bottom of the 4th, down a run, not anymore. Taylor Ward blasts that one out to right center, his 15th of the year. The Bees led 2-1 after 4. Then Jarrett Parker in the 9th inning. He lifts one out of the yard. He's now homered in 6 straight games. That's a new franchise record. One more would tie the PCL record. The Bees gave up 7 though in the 5th, 10 in the 7th. You're looking at a correct final score. They lose 22-9. Ouch.
What, do they get a safety?
We don't lose to those guys down south.
Awesome. It would have sucked if we had lost that one.
Hope everyone got their money's worth out of that one.
This one's different.
It's rivalry week.
I always used to be a huge Utah fan. I can't wait to go out there and play.
This is Utah's world, and BYU's living in it.
Oh, yeah. The start of the college football season just 67 days away, and it can't come soon enough. What better way to start the season than with one of the best rivalries in college football, BYU versus Utah?
Oh, man, it's great. The rivalry game, it was a popular topic, as you can imagine, this week at the BYU Media Days. The Cougars are focused on ending that 8-game losing streak to the Utes.
That's going to be a tough task because this is arguably the best Utah team ever.
Straight up, they've had it on us the past 7 years, and like we're sick of it.
I'm sick of it. I think our team is sick of it. Our coaches are sick of it.
We want to get to that game.
It means more to me. I take it personal.
You know, it's one of the best rivalries in college football.
It's tooth and claw. It's the Utah-BYU game. It's a fight to the finish. And
we have a bitter taste in our mouth from that loss.
We were left with that bad taste for the entire year.
I've been thinking about it ever since the game. You know, I just felt like I give them a lot of credit for coming back, but I also feel like there's a part of the game that we left out there.
Like everybody knows we should have won that game. Everyone knows we can beat those guys. And so I think guys are buying in, and they don't want that to happen again. I mean, my 4 years here, I don't want to be like the last guys who were here for 4 years that never beat those guys. So, you know, I want to get 3 straight. I mean, Utah acts like it's no big deal, but I know that they prepare for this game and they approach it like it's, you know, something bigger than it is. And
beat Utah,
beat Utah,
beat Utah, beat Utah, beat Utah in 3.
I really just had that confidence and believe in myself that I could go out there and do something.
Wilson under pressure, escapes another. Scrambling to the right, tucks it inside the 10. Get up in the air and stay on his feet. Oh my goodness. Rumble, young man, rumble. And that's just pure athletic ability right there.
Certainly is fun to watch. We watched Zach Wilson star at Corner Canyon High School. We knew he was good then, but he still was a surprise to everyone but himself last year as a freshman at the Y.
Yeah, Zach was impressive in 7 starts, including a perfect 18 for 18 passing in the bowl win over Western Michigan. How does he plan to top that as a sophomore? I had a chance to sit down with Zach at BYU Media Day.
What's it been like? Because, like I said, this hasn't been that long. You were out there on the high school football field not long ago.
It's like big time high school football. I feel like we moved to Texas or something. Like it's like all of a sudden you have all this hype around the program and you're playing against these big teams, and it's weird being a kid and you're watching these teams play on ESPN or whatever it is. You're watching Tennessee and Utah and BYU and all these teams, and now all of a sudden you're playing against these teams, and so it's just like it's a huge shock to you. It's just like, wow, like something I never thought would ever happen, and you see on TV, you're now part of.
So how are you able to kind of take that feeling, but then turn around and have the confidence that you belong here? Yeah, I mean, now since I've played in 7 games, it's just like I have a confidence that I built up over that amount of time. That's just like, okay, well, I can do this. Like I've played, I know what it's about, I know what it's like. I still have so much I can learn, but I know that it's something I can fulfill for sure. So I'm just excited to go into this next year with, the ability to take that next step. What is the next step for you? What do you want to accomplish next? I just want to be able to take more control of the offense and bring my guys along with me, and just be that leader on the team that guys can look up to and know that they, that I'll always have their back no matter what it is. And I want to be the person that can lead this team to, having a dominant year, especially offensively, and kill some of the best opponents we're going to play against this year. Do you embrace the expectations and the pressure, or do you block it out? Yeah, I do. I mean, I expect a lot out of myself. I really don't care what other people think. I don't listen to what other people think, their expectations, any of that stuff. It's kind of just what I expect out of myself. I expect myself to, to be able to come back from this and not only be back to how I was, but be a lot better than what I was, and almost be like I never had a surgery, just going from a freshman to a sophomore year and making that big transition and being able to be a dominant quarterback this year. How is your rehab going? How's the shoulder? Yeah, so it's been really well. I just started throwing in the beginning of June, and so it's only been 18 days or whatever it is, but I would say for having another month and a half until fall camp, I've had amazing progress, and it's one of those things. It's like, shoot, I got to hurry up. The season's coming. I got to go, and I still got time. And so for just the first 18 days, it's been a quick recovery. You kind of thrown in the fire last year. Was there one point or one moment last year where it kind of clicked and you're like, what, I belong here? I mean, a lot of that started for me just when I wasn't even playing. I mean, there was moments watching film, I'm like, well, I knew that. I could have done that. I mean, of course everyone says that. I mean, it's a tough situation to be in, but I really just had that confidence and believe in myself that I could go out there and do something. So once I got the opportunity to, is just, you got to keep a level head and go out there, block out the noise, whatever it is, and just make sure you get it done. My goodness, the schedule, that's what you dream of, right? A chance to go to Tennessee, a chance to play USC. How excited are you for the opportunity now as a starting quarterback to face these Power 5 programs? Oh, I'm so excited. I just want to stay healthy throughout this year, getting smarter with my body and being able to know when to take a hit, know when not to. I know I need to get healthy first, but I'm just so excited for this schedule because I know so many teams dream of playing against these big teams, and not only these big teams, but teams from all around the country. And most people play in a conference, and luckily for us, we get to mix it up and play against some cool opponents. You said you're going to be a little more careful. You're still going to be jumping over some guys, right? I don't know if I should ever do that again. I get a lot of crap for it from the coaches sometimes. But the fans love it. Yeah, the fans love it. The media loves it. The fans love it. What's it like for you going from year 1 to year 2, the growth that you've been able to make personally as you prepare for this next season, knowing that you are the starting quarterback at BYU? I mean, physically, quarterbacks can all throw a ball. I mean, when you look at the college level, a lot of people can throw the ball. It's the mental game that people lack. It's, the ability to play under pressure and that kind of situation. And so I want to take my games to a whole nother level mentally. And because I can't do anything physically, I've made a stand for myself that I really want to approach that like 2 times more than I would have ever done it before, and just make sure I'm always on the film and make sure I'm always learning and trying to grow my mental game. So you've been doing your homework? I have been. What are some of those things? Because the fans don't see that. Yeah. They don't know what you're doing behind the scenes. What are you doing behind the scenes mentally to become a better quarterback? Yeah, I'm just watching, tons of pro guys. Some of my favorite guys like Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Drew Brees. I watch some of the Jared Goff stuff because he's a young quarterback as well. And I don't want to pick up the stuff that comes when you become a vet, stuff that becomes when you're an NFL guy, but just, how
how they work inside the pocket. A lot of the route combinations are the same kind of thing, and I love to see, you know, what things they're throwing against certain kind of defenses, how they're manipulating defenders, their pocket presence, all that kind of stuff. And then, you know, of course, watching tons of Utah film, just going back and trying to find those tiny details that maybe didn't stand out to me the first time I prepared for only a week. And, you know, I better have the whole thing learned and down by the time we play them this next time. And so just a little bit of everything.
There's a dynamic with you, with your family history at Utah, wanting to go there, not getting offered. How does that play into the rivalry experience for you, having been on that side and now being on this side? What's it like for your family?
Yeah, I mean, there's no hate to our family, all that kind of stuff. It's kind of just more, I look at it as like it was Utah's loss. I mean, it was a good decision through BYU, and I hope to, you know, take full advantage of this opportunity that BYU's given me. I know that not a lot of kids get this opportunity to come play at the college level, and so if someone's willing to take a chance on me, I'll give them everything I have. And so I just look at it like, you know, we're gonna make Utah kind of pay, and not necessarily because of that reason that they didn't recruit me, but just because I'm on this side of the ball now.
Good stuff. Well, we're going to take a trip in that time machine coming up next. Back to 1980 for the NBA draft, when Frank Layden would give the media an in-depth look at the Jazz draft board. Media access sure has changed over the years, no doubt. Check it out next.
It has. It's time again for another deep dive into the KSL Sports Archive, thanks to our friends at 1-800-GOT-JUNK. This time we take a trip back to 1980.
Yeah, nowadays, there's nothing more top secret than a team's draft board, right? Well, back before the 1980 NBA draft, Jazz GM Frank Layden gave KSL an in-depth look at their draft board before they took Darrell Griffith with that #2 overall pick.
Well, I think certainly we're pretty well set on the idea that if Boston takes Joe Barry Carroll, I think that we have to take Darrell Griffith. I certainly think that if Darrell Griffith is taken first, we're going to take Joe Barry Carroll. We will discuss Kevin Hale. We're going to be talking to Kevin Hale later today. We have on our board right now Ron Lester, who's probably the best guard in the country, but has had some negative reports on his knee. And from that point on, you're guessing.
I noticed that Utah picks 19th, and on your guest board you have Carl Nix, who is 6'2" from Indiana State. Your first two picks, neither one of them are the center we've been talking about for a year.
Well, I think because of the accessibility to our board, Nix is in there as a mock pick. Right now, it has not been beneficial to us to put that 19th pick in there for real.
So when we take a picture of this, could be a whole bunch of smoke.
Well, I have a good idea, Don, that our second pick, our 19th pick, is somewhere in the second or third round there.
Okay.
There's a little bit of security involved, certainly. I think it's important.
When the draft starts tomorrow morning, let's see what you anticipate will happen.
Well, our projection is that Golden State went to the first position in order to get a center of Joe Barry Carroll's quality.
So they'll definitely take Carroll.
We think they'll take Carroll. Now, we're picking, if our posture remains the same as it has, we've been saying if Boston took Joe Barry Carroll, we would take Griffith. Well, now Golden State we think will take him, so we probably will go with Griffith.
Yeah. How crazy is that? Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish was traded for the first pick.
The start of a new Celtics dynasty.
Really, and then they had Larry Bird that came in that year as well. So we're watching history unfold there. Yeah. Can you imagine having access to a draft board like that?
That'd be amazing. And the Golden Griff got the Rookie of the Year, too. So
he was awesome.
It worked out.
We're glad he took Darrell Griffith. Now to golf. Tom Hackett has gone golfing this summer with some big names in sports. Kyle Whittingham, Larry Kraskowiak, and Jay Hill. But he's never faced a challenge like he did this week.
Yeah, you kidding? We paired him with 11-year-old golf celebrity. He didn't out-golf Tom, but he certainly out-danced him. Here's the latest edition of the Hallowed Grounds.
The Hallowed Grounds, brought to you by Siegfried & Jensen.
As always, arrived here in my Nateway Subaru. We're here at the Par 5 10th Willow Creek Country Club, and special guest this week is Mr. Warren Fisher, famous for the Warren Report. Find it on YouTube. You can also find it on fairwaysmag.com. I'm sure there's a number of other places. He's talked with Ferrety. I mean, you name it, he's done it. So we're going to get some good info today. Warren, here's how today works, okay? So we're going to play the Par 5 10th.
All right.
For this $100 gift card to You Into Golf.
I like it.
If you win, You can decide whether or not you want to go closest to the pin for the Bushnell rangefinder, valued at $500. I've played with some big guests so far, and I'm as nervous as I've ever been, so I'll stop talking, let's play some golf.
All right.
Oh, I'm up the left.
Oh, tree. I have a pretty good chance so far.
Oh, you're hook and magoo left too. So, Faraday?
Yeah.
How did that all come about?
He's always kind of been my role. He's always been my role model.
Pretty low bar, kid.
On my Instagram, they took a picture and then he sent the picture back to me. So he pulled out the picture and then he had it on his phone and then he was pointing at it just like I was. And so it was actually really cool. Oh, that bee was on that ball.
Did you see that bee?
You obliterated that bee. Finally, he's going for the most vicious prey on the entire golf course, the golf ball. He's got to do one thing, put it on the green.
Are you driving now?
Yeah.
You're just taking over the wheel?
Mm-hmm.
If you interviewed Tiger Woods though, what would you ask him?
What was the point of losing all of it just because you were addicted?
Oh, wow. That's got to come down.
Come on,
So I just three-putted. Oh, my word. So this is to tie? Oh, baby, Warren. Oh!
Dang it!
We are going to now go play the par 3 11th. Because Warren claims he can dance. In fact, I've seen you dance on camera. Wow, that's actually really good.
Oh, dang it, now I'm all wet.
If I did that, I think my body would snap in half like a toothpick.
Try
you want me to try that?
Try it.
Why did you make me do that? Okay, just for being generous enough to come down to Willow Creek, here's a $100 gift card to You Into Golf. Spend it wisely. Do you know what you're going to buy with it?
I have no clue, but...
Okay, well, you better start thinking. And then lastly, where can people find the Warren Report?
You can go to fairwaysmag.com, or you could just go to YouTube, search up Utah Golf Warren Report.
Thank you, my friend.
Thanks.
You're the man.
Oh, no.
Carl Serras, PGA head golf professional here at Willow Creek Country Club. We're going to talk about long putting today. When you're starting to have longer putts and you're trying to roll the ball to the hole, the goal really is to get it in a small circle so you can make that second putt. When we get outside 10 feet, we're not really going to be making that putt most of the time, but we want to get it close for our second putt. Swinging putt ahead, let it swing through to the hole. And again, that one's a little short, but again, we had a nice swinging putt ahead. The longer the putt, the more you let that hand just naturally flow with the weight of the putter swinging, and you'll have great speed control on your long putts.
Hi, I'm Maddie. I work at You Into Golf, and I'm one of the shoe experts here. We're going to kind of go over basically what we have here in our stores. We have great options for everybody, every type of golfer, every level of experience. We have high-end shoes that are great for waterproofing. Echo is one of our best when it comes to quality. Most comfortable, definitely high-end leather. So it's definitely our highest price point here in our shop, but it's a big seller. We absolutely love these. We also sell women's golf shoes. This is definitely our most popular women's golf shoe right now this season. It's lightweight, colorful, goes with every outfit. We have a range of every golf shoe. We also sell some with the replaceable spikes. This is probably the biggest decision golfers make when they come in to buy golf shoes, whether they want to go with more of a spikeless casual shoe or more of a traditional replaceable spike shoe. We definitely have a wide range of options for our customers, and it makes it really helpful because then you can always find the perfect shoe for you.
This week's Player of the Week is Grace Summerhays, who is the fourth woman and youngest at age 14 in Utah golf history to qualify for the Utah State Amateur Tournament. Grace, congratulations and best of luck.
The Utah Section PGA, so you'll hear people say, are you a golf professional or a professional golfer? So we're the golf professional side. Golf professionals are the golf professionals you see at your courses that you go to locally. give you lessons, run your junior programs, your corporate events, whatever tournaments are going on at your facilities that you're playing at. That's where you would see a PGA golf professional. Lots of different charity things that we do as a section, but on a overall standpoint, as you all have played in, I'm sure, you know, our facilities weekly, I would guess there's probably 3 to 5 events going on weekly at our facilities that are supporting some charity or some type of event out there that is raising money for something good.
Great clips of the week.
Welcome back, SportsBeat. Jazz guard Royce O'Neal once again doing the Junior Jazz Tour. This is in Roosevelt, schooling not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. You saw them all. We lost count. He sticks the jumper, too, in their face. Royce is awesome.
In your face.
Awesome for doing that tour, Royce. This kid's will definitely not forget that.
This is Darius Clark from Coffeyville Community College. He's headed to Florida State on a track scholarship. You can see why. Yeah, he's a long jumper, but he can also jump high, vertically. Kicking the rim, that's a new one.
9 seconds. All right, College Baseball World Series. This fan does the impossible. Catches the foul ball barehanded, and then he goes on to chug the beer all in one motion.
Spike that thing.
The fans love him. He's an instant hero in the bleachers.
He's my hero. Don't try that at home, though. The Astros are really good, just not this week. They lost 7 straight games. This didn't help. Not only did they not make the catch, but they can't even get the throw back into the infield.
Wasn't their day.
Remember that baseball blooper show back in the 80s? They would have made it.
Highlight. All right, this is Michigan baseball player Jordan Nwogu. He needs to work on the head first slide. Either that or he loves dirt.
Oh, it tastes so good.
Yeah. How? I mean, you know, he doesn't need to shave for the next week, I guess. He was safe, and his team beat Florida State 2-0 in the College World Series, so that might take a little bit of that pain away.
Yeah. All right, I love this Little League catcher. He's learned how to frame a pitch at a young age. I don't think he was fooling the umpire, but you have to applaud the effort. Fundamentals, right? Way to go, kid.
Strike. Nomar Mazara of the Texas Rangers just crushing the ball right now. 3 home runs this week. That one's 505 feet.
Are you kidding me? Good night, everybody.